Hello, hello, hello. This is Chris Ferdinandi from GoMakeThings.com. And today we're going to be looking at how to build our own toast or notification library. I have this page here with a button to add a thing. And when you click it, the only thing that happens is you get a console message saying that the thing was added. What we want to have happen is we want a notification to show up somewhere on the page indicating that the thing was actually added, kind of like this Toastify.js library, except we're not going to be using this. We're going to be building our own. This video and others like it are made possible thanks to the generous support of my Go Make Things members. Our recurring membership helps me create more videos like this and also get you some cool perks. You can join or learn more over at gomakethings.com/join. One of the things that gets you access to is this member portal that we're actually going to be using today as we build out this library. So you'll get to see it in action a little bit. Let me just quickly show you kind of what we've got for a code base here. So I've got my HTML file with the button. There is an event listener on that button that currently just says that the thing was added. We are going to, when that happens, we're actually going to show a notification in addition to just showing the console log. I have two dummy files set up, toast.js and toast.css for the interactivity and styling respectively, and we're going to build those out as we go. With that out of the way, let's actually dive in. So the way I want this to work, I'm thinking about this a little bit. So I don't necessarily want this to work just like Toastify.js does. So if you look at their docs, they've got this thing where you can specify different positions and like inject styling through JavaScript. And I don't really love that. For me, that's not the ideal way to do this. So what I think I actually would prefer to do is I want to have somewhere in here, I want to have the element that the toasts are going to get rendered into in the HTML. That's like my preferred way to do this. And I'm going to give this I like to use data attributes for JavaScript only selectors, although this actually isn't going to be a JavaScript only selector. So let's give it a class of, we'll call this toast footer, right? You theoretically could have one in the head as well, but we're going to start here. So we're going to have toast footer, and we'll go from there. One other thing that we're going to do, so I'm just thinking through kind of the API here. So what I want to have happen is we'll keep the console log for now, but let's beef this up a little bit. So I am going to create a new toast. So the way this is going to work, we'll say let notification equal new. I'm going to call it notification. I think toast is weird, right? And from a library perspective, the way I like these to work, mostly because I'm a little bit old school, is I want to specify the destination. So in this case, it's going to be toast footer. And then I like to accept an object of options. I think that's the cleanest way to set up a library like this. And inside here, I'm going to have things like the message, right? So in this case, we'll say your thing was added. And maybe there's some sort of like type of notification, right? So we're going to say, let's call it, I'm literally going to call it type, right? And so this could accept, like maybe the default is just info, but we could accept something like success, or it could, alternatives. It could be like success or error or, let's go with those three, right? Success, info, success, error, and warning. And those might get different kind of classes that you can use to style things a little bit differently. And then I'm trying to think what else we might want here, right? So let's say persist, right? So I'm going to have this as false. Maybe that's the default, but you might have an option where you just want it to stay forever. And then dismissible, I would like that to generally always be true. Like I want that to be the default. And these are going to be options, right? So we'll say optional, right? Optional, and this is going to be obviously true or false. And same thing with this one, optional, true or false. And yeah, so all the other stuff, so a lot of the stuff that kind of gets controlled in here, I would default to the CSS for, right? Like what they call like gravity, right? One other thing, I guess we can make duration, we can make that an option, right? So let's say, yeah, let's call it 3000. So this is going to be in milliseconds. We'll get a default of 3000. So we'll say optional, how long to persist in milliseconds. Yeah, and actually, so maybe we could do something different here. So maybe we don't even need this. So maybe if you set this to like a negative number, it stays forever. So that will be the library. Let's say -1 for forever. Okay. And that'll keep it really simple. Let's look at what other sorts of things we need here. Yeah, that's basically it. So let's dive into the actual library. Like let's actually build this thing. Cause right now, and then I'd like some methods. So once we have it, I'd like the ability to, let's say actually show it. And then maybe we want the ability to dismiss it, right? So those are the two things that we need to do here. So let's go ahead and make that happen. And this is just like if you wanted to be able to manually dismiss it later, right? Something like that. So let's go ahead and let's dive into making this happen. So I'm going to jump over to the toolkit, and I am going to grab, I actually have this one bookmarked, so I could have gotten to it from my bookmarks. But I have the class pattern boilerplate, and that's what we're going to use for this one. So let's go ahead and drop this in. We called it notification. I guess let's actually call it notify. I like that better. And so the class is notify. The constructor, we have, we've already specified what that's supposed to look like. We are accepting the selector and then some options, right? So we're going to say selector and options. And the options are going to equal an empty object by default. So that one will be non-required. Here we go. And let's do this, right? Just so we get those auto-filled for us, right? Instantiate the library. The selector is going to be a string. The target location to render the notification. And actually, we should make this a string or an element, right? So we will, in fact, let's actually call it target instead. No, I'm going to call it selector. Options, we're going to say the library options, and there's nothing to return here. So inside our class, we are going to, we're going to do two things. So let's we'll specify a target, and if type of selector equals string, we are going to, we're going to say document query selector. Otherwise, we are going to just use the selector as is. So we're going to assume it's an element. So let's say get the target to render into. And if there's no target, we are going to console warn. Let's say we'll go like this. We'll go notify JS target element not found, and then we'll return. So what we're doing here, we're looking for the target, just to explain what's happening here. So if this is a string, we'll use query selector to get it. If it's not a string, we'll assume it's an element. We'll just use it as is. Either way, we'll assign the output to this target. And if no target exists, we're going to issue a warning into the console. Next, we are going to grab our options and we're going to set them as properties. So I've got these things here. We know what we want. So we'll do this. So we'll say this message, this type, this dismissible, and this duration. So this message equals, this one is not optional. And so in that sense, we should actually probably make it, like the second argument, right? So we'll go like this message. So let's say your thing added, because it has to be included, right? So we'll make all of the options truly optional. So we'll do this, right? So then we don't need to say these are optional because these are all, like, that's the idea of options, right? They're extra configurations you could use, but they're not required for the library to work. So the target and the message, everything else is optional. Okay, so in that case, let's go message. We'll add that. Param string. Let's scoot ahead here to message, the message to render into the UI. And so if no target, we don't need, so this message is going to equal message, but let's also say if there's no message, we'll do the same thing, right? Console warn, notify JS, please provide a message, and then we'll bail. All right, so I've got some issues here. So this type equals, and then we can say options, we will say options type or info, right? And these are our options here. So we've got info, success, error, or warning. Or actually, you know what? I guess we can really, they could be anything, but we'll have these as kind of the defaults in the library, right? So this dismissible equals if options dismissible or so yeah, hold on. How do I want to do this, right? So if I do this, it will basically always be true, because if someone sets it as false, this will validate as false, and so then that will kick in. So we want to change this. We want this to be, so rather than dismissible, we want to say let's call it permanent, right? Yeah. So permanent, right? Which means it can't, we don't want someone to be able to get rid of it. And we will cast that to a Boolean. Right? So if it's not there, it'll be false. If it is there, it'll be true. And then finally, duration, we're going to set to options duration, or we'll use 3000. And let's see what else do we need to do here? Those are the basics. So with that in mind, so one other thing. So the next piece of this, right? We've got our methods to show it and to dismiss it. So let's go ahead and create those, right? So show, no arguments needed. And let's do this, right? So we're going to say show the notification and dismiss. To dismiss the, no, wow, I put that in the absolute wrong place, right? To dismiss the notification. And let's do this, right? So we're going to say console log shown for now, console log dismissed. And one other thing we're going to do, we're just going to make sure if if there's no target or no message, we'll just return. We're going to do that in both of these, right? We only want these to run if we've got the stuff we need. And when this loads, let's console log this message, this type, this permanent, and this duration. I just want to make sure, and this target. Let's just log all the things, make sure this is working. Here, we'll do this for now. And let's see what we've got. We've got, oh, I need to click the button first, right? Okay, so we've got our target, our message, the type is success, true, 3000, shown dismissed. All right, cool. So the initial library setup is working. We're obviously not actually doing anything right now, but we've got our initial setup here. So that's good. Cool. All right. So let's jump back over to the library. So when we go to show this, let's say only run if target and message are provided. And we'll do the same thing here. Next, we'll keep that there for now. Next, let's actually show it. So the way this works, we're going to create an element, add some classes to it, inject it into the UI, and then a fraction of a second later, add the text. And I'll explain why in a second. But so let's just get that done first, and then I'll talk through this. So create the notification message. So we're going to want to be able to dismiss this later. So let's actually create the element. And you know what? We should do that. We should do that somewhere else. No, we can do that here. So let's say this notification equals document create, wow, I can't type, create element, div. The reason we're appending it to this, so this is going to attach it to the instance, same for all of these. And that means that inside any of these class methods, you can access these properties. So I can access the message type, permanent, and duration inside show and dismiss. I can access the notification inside that I create here inside dismiss by attaching it to the instance. And every time you run new notify, it creates a new instance with its own unique versions of these properties. So we're going to create a notification. We are going to on the notification, we are going to give it a class name of, we're going to say, oh, you know what? Let's actually go with a template literal here. So we're going to say notify and then notify dash and then the type, right? So we've got info by default, but whatever the type is that's provided, we want to add that as the class. So it's always a notify, and then it could be info, success, error, whatever the user wants. It gives you a little bit of customization on the class name. I'm just looking at what else needs to happen here. Cool. Yep. So we also want to, so we're going to need to, if it's not permanent, we're going to want to provide a way to dismiss it. We will do that shortly. Cool. We'll get to that part. Next, we will, what will we do? Let's go with, yeah, I don't like calling this permanent. That's confusing, right? So let's say no close. That's probably the better way to do it, right? So it can still be dismissed. It's just the user can't do it. Yeah, no close. So we'll say false. We'll modify that later. And I didn't plan this out in advance. So I'm literally like, I'm building this in real time, just kind of showing you what my process might be for this. So we've got it. We've got the element. The next thing we want to do, so this notification set attribute, and then we are going to say role equals status. And so what this does, it is turning this into an ARIA live region, which means that when the text gets updated on it, a screen reader will announce it. And it also indicates to screen readers what its purpose is. Now, there's a weird little quirk with screen readers where if you inject an element with the ARIA live region and it already has text in it, the screen reader won't announce it. So it needs to show up in the DOM first and then have text added to it. And then a screen reader will announce it. So we need to add it, and then a millisecond later, we can add the text and it'll get announced to screen readers. So let's go ahead and do that now. So add it to the DOM. So we are going to this target prepend, because I want all of the new ones to show up first. So inside our target element, we're going to prepend this notification. And then let's say set timeout. Normally I would just use a traditional function, but I need to use an arrow function here so that I have access to this. Otherwise, inside here, this would become like the window or the function itself, not the instance. So an arrow function maintains the current kind of the current value of this. So we can say inside here, I am going to say this notification text content equals this message. And we're not dismissing anything yet, but we should see a message show up. So let's reload and let's click. Your thing was added. Great. And if I look at here, what we've got is we've got our toast, we've got our statuses. So let's go ahead and just add a little bit of styling right now before we do anything else. Okay, so we are going to, let's say, and actually call, let's change this. Let's call this notify wrapper. All right, we'll make that a standard thing. So inside here, we'll say notify wrapper position is fixed, and we're gonna go left 0, bottom 0. And for our notify elements, we are going to give them a max width of, let's say, 88%. Of the, oh no, you know what, let's do this. Let's say we'll give them a width of 88%. We'll give them a max width of maybe like 40 em. And then we're going to give them a background color of, let's just give them like a black, like a charcoal gray for now. We'll give them a color of white, padding of, I don't know, let's say 0.5 em. no, let's do this 0.25, 0.5. And let's also give them a border radius, right? It's a border radius of maybe 1em. Yeah, let's see how this looks. I'm just not. Oh, that's right. One other thing. So let's do this. Let's go margin. We're going to go 0.5em auto. That'll center them and give them a little buffer between each other. That might even be too much. Let's go 0.25. And yeah, that should be good. That should be good. Okay, so let's jump over. Cool. So it's added down at the bottom. That is not positioning the way I would hope. Let's see why. Cool. So we've got this is fixed. This is, oh, that's why the notify is the problem. So we want to go with 100%. Okay. Yeah, we can leave that there. I'm not overly concerned. There we go. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm probably gonna let's beef up the padding, right? So we'll give the left and right padding. We'll go something more like that. Yeah, that's looking good. All right, cool. And so this just kind of scales as you go. That might even be that's too much, right? Let's bring that down, right? Yeah, cool. All right. So we've got a little notification just showing up here now. Everything's good. That only shows up after we run show, right? So if I comment this out, nothing. But if I show it, now it shows up. Cool. And so this one, it also has success, right? So we could style these differently, right? So you could do something like notify success has a background color of let me steal my blue, right? From here. I just want something that's kind of accessible, right? So what is this color? Yeah, here we go. So we'll do that, right? So we'll go like that and notify warn. We're gonna go background color. I'm not even gonna do that. Let's go danger, right? So background color danger is, we'll just go red for now, right? That's a hideous, absolutely hideous red. But we could do something like, oh, I didn't do success, right? This is more, yeah, this should not be blue. This should be like green. Let's go like that, right? So wrong page, bam, right? So you can see it's green. If we were to do something like error, what did I call it? I called it danger, right? I did this wrong. Yeah, let's call it error. There we go. Save. So it shows up red, right? But we're not gonna do that in ours. We'll call it info, right? And it's everything's happy, right? We could even make it like blue or a different color if you wanted. So yeah, actually let's do this. So we'll say notify info background color is blue. All right, so we have options, right? Cool. So your thing was added. Sweet. And you'll notice as I scroll, it stays right where it should be. So now we want to do a couple of other things. We want to add the ability for a user to automatically dismiss it themselves. And we want it to, or we want a user to be able to dismiss it. We want it to automatically disappear after a certain amount of time as well, potentially. So we're going to say, let's add, how do we want to do this? Okay, so we can get rid of this. We're going to say if, let's go with duration, right? So if this duration is greater than greater than 0, we are going to, we're going to set an additional set timeout, right? So this set timeout And we're going to this notification. Oh no, I'm sorry, not even this notification, this dismiss. Right, so we'll do it automatically after this duration. So automatically dismiss the notification. And inside this dismiss, we'll do one additional check, right? So if no this notification, so if there's no notification to dismiss, we're going to bail. Otherwise, remove the notification from the DOM. So we'll say this notification remove. And let's go ahead and try this again. So after 3 seconds, it automatically disappears. Perfect. One other thing we want to do is we want to give the user the ability to automatically close it. So if this no close, we're going to return, right? So let user, if user can't close, nothing else to do. Otherwise, let's create close button. So we're going to say this, not even this, sorry, let button equal document create element button. Button class name equals notify close. And this notification append button. Yeah, so this should create a button, add it to the DOM, and inject it, and then we'll position that in a minute. It actually probably should be at the beginning, and then we'll float it. So we'll do this, and the last piece is listen for button clicks and dismiss the notification. So we will say this, no, not even this. So button add event listener. Once again, we are going to use a arrow function here, or an arrow function, I guess I should say. So if it's clicked, we are going to this dismiss to dismiss the modal. And one other thing I didn't do that I absolutely should. So button set attribute. So we're going to let the user customize what this looks like rather than injecting an icon. We should probably do like a background image or something. So let's say aria label equals close notification. Okay, fine. You've convinced me. We're going to make that an option, right? So this close message equals options close message, or it is close notification. So if someone wanted to customize that, they could, but otherwise we're going to say this close message. Cool. Yeah, so we'll let that icon kind of get controlled with CSS. So let's think of a way to add this. So first, let's update our thing here. So we're going to set this to 0 so that it never goes away. And then we're going to add it. So if I were to, duration is 0 though. So what's the problem? I know the problem. The problem is that 0 is showing up as false. Yeah, so we're gonna get rid of these conditionals here, right? So we'll do this. Yeah. If I were to, okay. Oh, so I need the nullish nullish coalescing operator. So basically what's happening, zero is validating as false. And so it's always deferring to 3000, whereas the nullish coalescing operator will only validate as false if the thing is explicitly like null, false, or undefined. So let's try that again. Cool. And that should stay up forever now. If I look in here though, I don't see a button. Why might that be? Cool. So I have no close. No close is set to false. All right, so let's console log this no close. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay, console, add thing, no close is false. Okay, cool. So this notification prepend button, I've got the button, I've got a class name on it, I've given it an attribute, and inside my notification, I am appending it. So why isn't it showing up? So, what is happening here? So this notification prepend button. So let's console log the button. The button. Yep. Oh, it was there and then it disappeared. Is it getting removed by virtue of me clicking it? All right, let's get rid of that for a second. It's like literally like I'm clicking open an elements panel. The node cannot be found in the current page. That's really weird. Why would that be? What am I doing wrong? Okay, console log this button, this notification. All right, we've saved it. We've got it. We're not. Add. Open in the elements panel. If I append it, will that fix it? What is happening here? Append. Why is it not getting added? That is so very strange. So this notification append button. Oh, I know why. Because I am adding the text content a millisecond later and it's wiping out. This is asynchronous. So it's happening after this and it's wiping out the button. So we need to time out the button, or we need to do them at the same time. I'll just add a second to keep my code a little bit neater. I'm going to do this, right? So we'll drop this in. We'll go back to prepending. And then we'll do this. Okay, so add the thing. There's the button. We're going to style the button. So we'll say notify close. Let's go float right, padding left. No, not like that. Padding left 0.5 em, and then I want a background color thingy of some sort. Not background color, background image. So what do we want to do? What do we want to do here? We'll use, we'll do something a little bit different for this. Let's say we're going to go height equals 1em, width equals 1em. We're going to strip out all of the normal stuff on this, right? So we're going to go, border, what are we going to say? Like background color, or no, background none, transparent, background transparent, border none. And then there's better ways to do this, right? Like you could do like a background image kind of thing. But we're going to say before, I'm doing this wrong. It's like this, right? Content equals X, right? This is a really stupid way to do this. Like I would use a background image, SVG, right? So you can have an SVG and use it as a background image. I think that would probably be a better way to do this. But for now, for our purposes, this should work, right? So you've got this button here. We're also going to say, let's say cursor pointer. For some reason, buttons don't like to do that. And we're going to do color. We'll make it white. Okay, so boom. If I click it, the thing goes away. And if I were to like resize this, which it doesn't want to let me do, there we go. Because of the float, everything gets kind of like pushed over. So now we've got the button. Let's go in here, add the thing. I can focus on it, which is great. I can dismiss it, which is great. So things are working as expected. Cool. So we need to do one more thing. So we've got most stuff in here, right? So let's see, I just want to make sure we've got everything. So you can close it, you can change the duration. Like in this case, let's comment this out, right? So we're not gonna, we'll have it automatically dismiss, but we'll also give the ability of the user to dismiss it. Cool. So I'll add it, I'll immediately dismiss it, but if you don't, it'll go away on its own. Cool. So there's one more thing I like to do with libraries like this. Like as is, I think this is a great, pretty complete library, but there's one more thing I like to do. And I think this really makes the whole thing really complete. So I'm back over in the membership area for a Go Make Things membership. I am going to grab the emit helper function. If you've watched my videos before, you've seen me talk about this, but the idea is that in a robust library, you want to add hooks that developers can hook into to extend the library and add functionality you didn't think of. So I'm going to add the emit function. We're going to continue with the type. We don't need the detail and we don't need the element. So I am going to just keep the type on here. Let me strip out my own copyright information. If there's no type, we'll bail. Otherwise, we are going to create a new custom event. It bubbles. It's cancelable. There's no detail. And we are going to dispatch it on this notification. So on the notification itself, it will bubble up. Now we can actually emit it. So we are going to do this two ways. So the first way is so we're going to let's see. So after the notification is shown, right? So after we set the message, we're going to say this emit, and then the type is oh yeah, I need to update the custom event type in a sec. But so the type on this one is going to be show. And I also like to do a beforehand, right? So I like to say, let's say before show, like this. And we're returning the notification. So if someone were to cancel it for some reason, we can also bail. So if we're going to do this, right? So if no, we will actually, we don't even need to do that, right? We'll say return. So what we're doing here is we're running our emit function. And if someone does event prevent default on it, it will return as false and we will bail. So this gives people an opportunity to cancel the thing that's going to happen before it happens. And then this gives them an opportunity to react to the thing having had happen. And we'll do the same thing inside dismiss. So we're going to say this before dismiss, and then we will emit a non-cancelable version afterwards with just dismiss. And now the one thing I said I want to do here, we're going to update the way this is displayed. So we're going to say notify : and then type. So the event would be notify show, notify dismiss, notify before, etc. So just to kind of show you how that works, let's create a log function that accepts the event and console log event type. And then we're going to add to the document. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll do this. We'll event type and event target. So you can see kind of how that all works. Event, add event listener, comma log. So I'm going to do 4 of these. And we're going to go with notify. If I were smart, I would have done it like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So notify before show, notify show, notify before dismiss, and notify dismiss. And if we jump back over, open up the console. I don't know why I closed it. Wow. There we go. That was being difficult. We'll beef this up a little bit. Cannot read properties of dispatch event. Let's see why. This emit before return. Cannot read properties of undefined. This notifications dispatch event. This event. Why? What is the error here? Cannot read properties of undefined. Undefined. So what is undefined in here? Is it the notification? Yes, because I am attempting to admit this before I have created the notification. So we'll do that. There we go. Yeah, so we'll add it to the DOM. And then we will update the text. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. So notify before, notify show, notify before dismiss, and then dismiss didn't fire because notification is gone. So we actually need to fire 2 of these. We need to give the opportunity, and then we're going to run these at the same time. But that way, because this is happening first, the notification will technically still be there. Let's double check. Yeah, there we go. Now things are working as expected. Notify dismiss. Cool. We are good. Now let me show you an example of how you can overwrite the functionality here. So before dismiss, we're going to say function event, and then we will go log event, and then we're going to go event prevent default. And the before dismiss happens, but you'll notice that it never actually gets dismissed. And same here. If I try to dismiss it, I get before dismiss running, but the dismiss event never actually fires, and the notification, the toast, never goes away because we've intervened and intercepted it. Now you would use this like in a real library. You would use this in a more interesting way. So you would want to check the event target, right? And you might say, okay, if it was this specific target, if it had this ID on it, or this class, or some sort of other attribute, I am going to not do something with it, or I'm going to change it in some way. And so I guess to that effect, one other thing you can do, I guess I should point out here, right, is so when you create these, like one of the things you can do, so if we go console log notification, this will actually return the element. So right here, this is actually the notification element that it's on. So like you could do a check, right? Like when you add the thing. I'm doing a really bad job explaining this. So let me come up with a more practical example. So let's do this. So when you show the notification inside here, you could, we'll go arrow function on this for a second. You could do something like if event target, actually you could do this even differently. Rather than listening on the document, you could listen on the notification element, right? So maybe you want to, if we're going to get some other condition, right? Maybe there's something that needs to happen before you can actually dismiss this. If that other condition has not been met, don't dismiss the notification. And then you're going to manually handle that later, just as an example, right? So it just gives you flexibility. Developers do all sorts of weird things. You never really know how people are going to use your libraries until they actually start doing it. So it's good to provide these hooks. I am going to make sure that all of the source code from today is down in the description if you want to dig into this yourself. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, etc., please leave them down below. Obviously, if you like the video, like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. But I need to mention just before you go that I recently decided to stop selling expensive courses that most folks can only afford with a corporate training budget and focus on creating more excellent free content, including YouTube videos like this one. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see me make more of this stuff and you want to help support the channel, one of the best ways you can do that is through a Go Make Things membership. You can learn more about that over at gomakethings.com/join. When you join, it gets you access to all sorts of cool perks, including this giant content library I have with all of the courses I've ever made, all sorts of guides on how to do a whole ton of stuff, my toolkit, which you saw us use today, some really great copy-paste resources there, and you get access to my private Discord community. As little as $3 a month makes a big difference and helps keep this channel going. So if that's interesting to you, gomakethings.com/join. I'd really appreciate your support. And if not, thanks for watching anyways. And I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.